fifth dimension, beyond that which is known to man. It is a dimension as vast as space and as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it lies between the pit of man's fears and the summit of his knowledge. This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone.
An illusion will be created so vast, so large that it escapes their perception. Those who see it will be thought of as insane. We will always stand above the relative field of their experience, for we know the secrets of the Absolute. We will work together always, and we will remain bound by blood and secrecy. Death will come to he who speaks. We will keep their lifespans short and their minds weak while pretending to do the opposite. We will use our knowledge of science and technology in subtle ways so they will never see what is happening. We will use soft metals, aging accelerators and sedatives in food and water, also in the air. They will be blanketed by poisons everywhere they turn. The soft metals will cause them to lose their minds. We will promise to find a cure from our many fronts, yet we will feed them more poison. The poisons will be absorbed through their skin and mouths. They will destroy their minds and reproductive systems. For all this, their children will be born dead, and we will conceal this information. They will see our products being used in films, and will grow accustomed to them, and will never know their true effect. When they give birth, we will inject poisons into the blood of their children and convince them that it's for their health. We will start early on, when their minds are young. We will target their children with what children love most, sweet things. When their teeth decay, we will fill them with metals that will kill their minds and steal their future. When their ability to learn has been affected, we will create medicines that will make them sicker and cause other diseases for which we will create yet more medicine. We will render them docile and weak, so they succumb to us and our power. They will grow depressed, slow and obese. And when they come to us for help, we will give them more poison. We will focus their attention towards money and material goods, so that they may never connect with their inner self. We will distract them with fornication, external pleasures, and games, so that they may never be one with the oneness of all. Their minds will belong to us, and they will do as we say. If they refuse, we shall find ways to implement mind-altering technology into their lives. We will use fear as our weapon. We will establish their governments and establish opposites within. We will own both sides. We will always hide our objective, but carry out our plan. They will perform the labor for us, and we shall prosper from their toil. Our families will never mix with theirs. Our blood must be pure, always, for it is the way. We will keep them separated from the oneness by dogma and religion. We will control all aspects of their lives. We will make them kill each other when it suits us, and tell them what to think and how. We will guide them kindly and gently, letting them think they are guiding themselves. We will incite animosity between them through our factions. When a light shall shine among them, we shall extinguish it by ridicule or death, whichever suits us best. We will make them rip each other's hearts out and kill their own children. We will accomplish this by using hate as our ally, anger as our friend.
From 6 billion to 800 million by the year 2030. This meant finding a method or methods to wipe out nearly 95%
You don't know that.
I don't know that. She's on the tape. She's on the tape. She's gonna die.
John?
John. It hurts.
Hey, what's up, family? What's going on? So, man, quick update. I shot this video probably like about 3 days ago. Yeah, I shot it like Friday and was planning to get it out to y'all for the weekend, man. But freaking computer problems caused it to get deleted and lost all the footage. It's like an hour worth of me talking, basically, and shoot, couldn't get it back. So shooting it all over again, man. But the topic of the discussion, man, was frequency, energy, and how that all correlates with everything that's going on today. How it correlates with you, your spirit, your soul, and also your health. All right, so a lot of y'all know, man. If you don't know by now, then I'm telling you, brand new to this, brand new to my channel, and you don't know a lot about what's happening, then you're in the right place. But if you're too far gone, you pretty much under the hypnotic spell that they've been putting on everybody. You've been fluoridated to a certain degree, then a lot of this information is gonna go right over your head, and it's probably not gonna do you any justice hearing this. But for those that are still inclined to be able to connect to their higher self, then they'll know what I'm talking about. This stuff, this will resonate, right? So, anywho, guys, so everything we talking about, man, dealing with frequency and energy, and to understand that, man, you gotta understand the soul, you gotta understand the spirit, you gotta understand spirituality, you gotta understand the whole dynamics of the universe and how this all works together. You know, we talk a lot recently about our sixth sense or whatever, which is basically our third eye, pineal gland, you know, spiritual portal. All right. Well, I hope this wind ain't messing with the video. I hope it ain't, guys. I apologize if it is, but we're gonna try to do this anyway. Anyway, the spiritual portal, man, that's the third eye. I explained to you guys before, from a biblical perspective, what y'all need to understand, and I'll go over it briefly. So, like, you go back to the Garden of Eden, right? And there's a correlation there. You have to pay attention. The serpent was in the Garden of Eden, right? And he had Adam and Eve, had them to take part in the forbidden fruit, eating apples, telling them that they would be God-like and this and that, when he actually stripped them of the God-like power. They were already God-like. God made us in the image and likeness of him. That's why I keep telling y'all, that's why they, like, people saying, oh, you're not supposed to be able to use your pineal gland. Like, these people, anybody that's saying that, if you're on the video, you brainwashed. You brainwashed. God didn't give you anything on your body that you weren't supposed to have access to. He didn't give you anything in your body that you weren't supposed to have access to. Every organ in your body has a use, has some type of importance or unique function, okay, that God ordained you to have. right, including your third eye. That's why it's in there. It's your spiritual sense. Okay, this is what it is. And that's why they have worked so hard to calcify, close it, because they don't want you being able to connect to the source. So anybody that does not have access to their pineal gland, that does not have access to their third eye, they're not able to connect to the source. Okay, remember Rudolf Steiner, and I'll play the clip in here again for people that have not seen it.
Born in 1861, Rudolf Steiner was an Austrian occultist, esotericist, and self-proclaimed clairvoyant. Among his many lectures, Steiner was quoted as saying, "In the future, we will eliminate the soul with medicine. Under the pretext of a healthy point of view, there will be a vaccine by which the human body will be treated as soon as possible directly at birth, so that the human being cannot develop the thought of the existence of a soul and spirit. Two materialistic doctors will be entrusted with the task of removing the soul of humanity. As today, people are vaccinated against this disease or that disease, so in the future, children will be vaccinated with a substance that can be produced precisely in such a way that people, thanks to this vaccination, will be immune to being subjected to the madness of spiritual life. He would be extremely smart, but he would not develop a conscience, and that is the true goal of some materialistic circles. With such a vaccine, you can easily make the etheric body loose in the physical body. Once the etheric body is detached, the relationship between the universe and the etheric body would become extremely unstable, and man would become an automaton. For the physical body of man must be polished on this earth by spiritual will. So the vaccine becomes a kind of Ahrimanic force. Man can no longer get rid of a given materialistic feeling. He becomes materialistic of constitution and can no longer rise to the spiritual. Steiner's words, now 100 years old, are not only eerie but thought-provoking. We are bioelectric beings. If we are to believe our souls are energy and frequency, is it possible then to hijack our electromagnetic signature, reverse the polarity of our souls, and trap us in the physical world forever? And are there forces in this realm that wish to accomplish this?
You know, the whole idea that humans have, you know, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over. But some governments and corporations, for the first time in history, have the power to basically hack human beings. It's often said that you should never allow a good crisis to go to waste, because a crisis is an opportunity to also do good reforms that in normal times people will never agree to. But in a crisis, you see, we have no chance. So let's do it.
So that's it, Rudolf Steiner. He said they were going to make it a point to be able to disconnect people from the source. They would not know that it exists. They would not understand the functionality. They wouldn't know anything about it. That was the game plan. From occult members, people that are connected to what? The Illuminati and stuff. Okay, those that seek to control the living, the beings, the regular people. They orchestrated a plan back then. Now let's get back to the Bible. In the Bible, it talks about the snake. Okay, now you have to look at the snake though. There's a scripture in the Bible that talks about how the snake was confined or cursed to have to, you know, be I forget what they call it in there, man, but it's cursed to have to be on the earth's surfaces, like squirm around and stuff, right? Now exactly what part that actually happened in, I can't tell you offhand. But you go back, like I said, you go back, guys, and you look at it from the standpoint, okay, so the snake deceived Adam and Eve to take a bite in the forbidden fruit, telling them they would be godlike. What happened? Immediately, they knew they were naked, right? I've talked about this many times. Okay, well, how do you know you're naked? Because now you're looking through the physical eye. All this time you've been functioning on what? Your third eye. You've been functioning on the spiritual aspect. So fleshly stuff was not apparent to you. It did not occur. That way you could not be tempted in stuff by the flesh, because the flesh was irrelevant. Because you were a vessel. You are a being in a vessel that only operated off the spiritual. Now, once you got stripped of your God-like abilities and powers and whatnot, now you're unable to utilize that specific portion of your brain like that. Okay, so for them, they automatically knew they was naked and stuff, and they were now able to be influenced and stuff by the stuff of the physical. Okay, so now you can be tempted. You can be damn, I just drew a blank. You could lust. Okay, all of that stuff, right? That's why they use that. That's why they use lust and stuff like that. So usually why they use those different things like pornography and stuff to tempt the flesh, to have you vibrating low. Okay, so in a sense that was poison. Okay, and who else other than the devil would use that? The serpent. Don't we talking about reptiles again? You see what I'm saying? So even now today, talking about reptiles, it told folks to go take the walk, and people did it. They was deceived. I showed you them on the news. I showed you them, telling you, hey, come down here and get this poison. Basically, it's gonna make you godlike. You gonna have immunity to this disease. Not knowing that God already gave you the immune system to address that, right? But no, you got to listen to the snake. You got to listen to the serpent. It's telling you, hey, come down here and get this. I got the real stuff. It's going to protect you. This stuff better than what God gave you. You see what I'm saying? So, anyway, that's kind of what happened. So, understand, guys, that as spiritual beings, start to pay attention. As spiritual beings, you operate off the frequency, off energy, okay? Like, your senses as you are here on this realm, on this planet, and in this vessel, are your five senses, which is your hearing, okay, your sense of smell, your sense of taste, your sense of touch, your vision. Those are your five senses, right? The sixth sense is like dormant for most people, okay? It's not utilized. Or your sixth sense, you wonder where you have stuff like intuition. You are able to feel, you know, the presence. You're able to feel love. You're able to feel hate. You know, you can have these moments where you know, see things that's gonna happen, or you feel things, right? Able to communicate telepathically. People inadvertently do this stuff and they don't even know it. Okay, it's like you're able to see experiences from past lives and stuff like that. How could you do that? Because this vessel ain't never been to that past life. This vessel, once it's gone, it's gone. But your soul, your spirit lives on. That's why I tell everybody, and that's why people get confused. They like, oh, it's so many different layers to this stuff, man. It kind of gets hard to describe in detail, in depth, but you have to understand, guys, when you say, well, as soon as your vessel arrives here, it's automatically a spirit, a soul inserted. Okay, just like when the vessel leaves here, there's a spirit, soul that is removed. Okay, and then you got to think, well, where are these spirits and souls when there's no vessels to be accessed? They're waiting. Okay, this is where the possession and stuff like that come into play, man. People are possessed. If you vibrate low, if you on that frequency that these spirits, that's why I say don't open the pineal gland. Don't go about opening the pineal gland the wrong way. If you vibrate low, if your heart's not right, if your spirit, your soul, and your heart is not in alignment, then opening up the pineal gland can be a dangerous thing for you. because you opening up a spiritual portal to spirits. Okay, so if you're on the same plane that they're on, guess what? They can come in. Okay, they can come in, and you don't have protection. You don't have divine protection because your heart and your spirit, your soul is not in alignment. Okay, to where you're vibrating at the plane that they can't reach. You're on a 3D realm. Okay, so if you was to die while you're on that 3D realm, on that or you vibrating at that very low. If you vibrating very low and you on a low enough frequency, then they have access.
Hi, Steve here. In this video, part 3, let's talk about the bad. Let's talk about the ugly. The subject of unclean spirits or devils is too huge to just mention it in passing, but I'm going to try to do that here because there's 38 verses where the Lord Jesus Christ talked about the reality of unclean spirits and the devil. The word devils is mentioned 54 times in the Bible. Unclean spirit and unclean spirits are mentioned 21 times. Evil spirit and evil spirits are mentioned 14 times. Familiar spirits and familiar spirits are named 16 times. In the book of Luke, the word devil or devils appears 31 times. This is over 25% of the Bible's entire references to these two words. Unclean spirits are known by a number of other biblical names, including familiar spirits, evil spirits, foul spirits, principalities, powers, spiritual wickedness, devils, and rulers of the darkness. Now something that may shock you. All devils believe in God and know who Jesus Christ really is. Devils major in deception. They attend church, worship Jesus, quote scripture, tell the truth at times, work miracles, impart wisdom, and prophesy. The New Testament is full of references, and even 1 Samuel 18:10 talks about it. With the exception of the devil himself, there is absolutely no record in the Bible of an unclean spirit being able to manifest in physical form. Devils must possess, in other words, dwell inside a physical body of humans or animals in order to be at rest. That is, they prefer to possess someone or something rather than just remain disembodied spirits. Unclean spirits have an affinity, in other words, a natural liking or sympathy for death or dead bodies, man or animal. The term unclean not only refers to their affinity for death, but also to their state, that of an unclean thing. The first example of the word unclean is found in Leviticus 5:2. This verse tells us that an unclean thing is directly associated with carcasses of dead things. This implies that unclean spirits became unclean because they originated from dead bodies. For whatever reason, these spirits did not return to God when they died. Unclean spirits enjoy dwelling in cemeteries and may cause homicidal or suicidal tendencies.
Okay, it's like the Matrix, talk about the agents and stuff flowing in and out of people. Those are demons flowing in and out of people that are vibrating low enough to be accessed. Okay, so that's why I was telling you guys, if you open your pineal gland and your heart's not in the right place, people just doing it because you know it's the thing to do. You're doing it when you're using drugs, certain drugs. Like I tell you, it could be LSD, shrooms, even THC. It's another one. And I'm not advocating for drug use, so don't go using drugs, right? But these different methods, man, will open up the pineal gland. Okay, just like I told you, certain hymns, like vibrations that you send through your mouth, you can do certain things that will hit that pineal gland and cause a vibration. That vibration will cause that thing to open. Okay, once it's open, guess what? That's like a signal alert, boom, to the spirits that's around. Like, oh, there's a portal that has been opened. Okay, this portal has been opened. Now, let's go and let's access it.
I believe that's a fact. They also promote insanity, self-mutilation, and nakedness in those they possess. They can cause people to do all the things I mentioned before, like attend church, quote scriptures, tell the truth at times, work miracles, impart wisdom, and even prophesy. You may ask yourself, why would they do that? Simple, to deceive. Misquoting the scriptures and taking them out of context is one way they deceive. If you're not sure I'm telling you the truth, read Matthew chapter 8, verse 28, 1 Samuel 18, 10 through 11, Luke 4, 9, Luke 8, 3, Matthew 17, 14 through 18, Mark chapter 5, verse 5, Luke 8, 27. Some areas can have higher concentrations of devils than others. This preference is strongly dictated by their affinity for the dead. Read chapter 5 of Mark, 1 through 10. When you combine their affinity for dead bodies, cemeteries, and graven images with their church attendance, worship of Jesus, quoting of Scripture, working of miracles, prophesying, and imparting of wisdom, you come away with a counterfeit Christian church built upon a graveyard, whose altar descends into the underground, into a city of the dead. There's one area that meets all of this criteria. It's the Vatican necropolis.
So like, there's spirits that'll engage, like, say if you let's see, using alcohol and stuff like that. Like I told y'all, God, I swear, man, when I be telling y'all stuff that's important, man, it's like that distractions coming up. Like, I don't want to lose my train of thought, so I'm gonna keep on going. But like I tell you, when people use alcohol and stuff, and I put this clip in here before, I'm gonna play it again so y'all see exactly what I'm talking about. This man breaks it down pretty good. Okay. But what it is, man, like if you drinking alcohol and whatnot, you're opening up. You pretty much, like, that alcohol has a chemical reaction inside the brain. Okay, this stuff they don't tell you, but it has chemical reaction inside the brain. Those things, like certain drugs and stuff, taps into your pineal gland, which opens you up to the spiritual realm. Okay, opens you up for demonic possession. Okay, demonic possession. Why is it demonic? Because you're vibrating low. For the first part, the fact that you drinking alcohol the way that you are, some people, most times, alcohol is used, you know, in I guess a setting that in most cases is gonna exacerbate illicit type of behavior, I would say, and it's gonna open you up to demonic possession because you're already vibrating on low frequency. Think people at bars and stuff, they at clubs and stuff, they listening to low vibrational music, they at strip clubs, they engaging in different things, man, and in most cases I would say it's utilized in negative atmospheres or environments. Okay, so it's ripe with negativity and low vibrational characters or beings. Okay, and these spirits, they know this, so they float and they hover around these people in these areas waiting for those portals to open. You understand what I'm saying? So the portals open, boom. Now these spirits like, boom, it's open season. So I'm gonna jump in who I want. And guess what? You got certain kind of spirits, man, that have left bodies before, vessels before, because they died from intoxication. They died from DUIs or whatnot, driving under the influence. They died from being executed for crimes and stuff that they committed as they were intoxicated or as they were possessed. And these beings, these spirits, wait around and look to get inside people. Why? Because they want to recommit these crimes, these different fantasies and different fetishes and things that they might have. Okay, and when you opening yourself up to them, you open yourself up to the pleasures and desires that they have or that they had, that they want to experience again. So they'll wait around areas and places where they know that they can get inside certain type of people and carry out these acts. Okay, like I showed you in the movie, the Poltergeist, which I used that in the beginning of this movie so y'all can see. So y'all can see kind of, you know, from the spiritual aspect of what was going on in there. Boom. Now that can be very symbolic because you look at it, he swallowed the parasite, right? But he also drinking the alcohol. Now whether that's is some kind of symbolism or some type of correlation between the two, because we talk about parasites and parasites being able to open people up to demonic possession. Okay, parasites having the energy field controlling your sexual habits. Notice in there he went automatically got like very intense desire to be sexual with his wife all of a sudden, right? But he was acting very erratic and very possessed, like he wasn't acting like himself. But we talk about how the parasitic aspect, parasites had that control. They send off an energy in their self. Okay, this energy field, they able to control your thoughts, your minds, your desire, your habits, your moods. Okay, that's from the parasitical aspect. Okay, but the fact that he's using alcohol, guess what? Now, boom, he's opening himself up. The pineal gland's getting tapped. All right, so at that moment, now he's open for demonic possession. Okay, and he's vibrating low. All right, so now he's able to be accessed by these spirits that have, you know, sexual desires and things. So all of a sudden, that's why people people drink alcohol, and then they all of a sudden, you know, they want to get sexual and stuff. They want to get freaky. Like, it happens, like, for real. I don't drink alcohol, guys, I'll be honest with you. So, but I've been around people that drink alcohol, and they like, I need to drink alcohol. And you know it's like, folks, and you might be one of them people that, like, you feel like, oh, when I go out, I got to drink alcohol. People try to get lit before they go out. Why? Because they want to have more of an out-of-body experience. Okay, now we talking about people blacking out and stuff, and spirits and things taking over them. And then they become that person. Okay, or that spirit takes over them, and now that spirit wants to do the stuff that it did in the past. And they don't give two shits about you and what it might cause, because it's already gone. So if it do a crime in your body, who cares, right? It's gonna embellish and relish the opportunity to have that experience again, because it gets a high off of that. You understand what I'm saying? So like I was saying though, people get in the mood and stuff, man. They want to drink alcohol before they go out. Why? Because now they not themselves. They say, oh, I need to drink alcohol, then I do this, I do that. Or I get loose, I you know what I'm saying? Why? Because you not in your own, you ain't in your rightful mind. You being controlled by the spirits. Okay, the spirits is taking over and functioning, thinking and operating for you. Okay? So some people like, oh, when I'm drunk, man, I'll do anything. You know, if you notice, people have different type of experiences when they're drunk. Some people want to fight. Okay, some people want to be sexual. Some people want to argue. Some people just chill out. They cool. Okay.
Although it is mass-produced, mass-promoted, legal, and ingested by a multitude of people all over the world, most people don't ever consider or understand the spiritual consequences of drinking alcohol. Let's begin by taking a look at the etymology of the word alcohol. Etymology means the root of the word. Where does its origins begin? The word alcohol comes from the Arabic al-kal, which means body-eating spirit, and gives root origins to the English term for ghoul. In Middle Eastern folklore, a ghoul is an evil demon thought to eat human bodies, either as stolen corpses or as children. By consuming alcohol into the body, it in effect extracts the very essence of the soul, allowing the body to be more susceptible to neighboring entities, most of which are of low frequencies.
What the Okay, so we're talking like low frequency demonic possession here. All because a bitch wanted to drink. I don't know about you, but I've never been through the head spinning around, vomiting pea soup sort of shit when I've been drinking. I mean, I felt like my head was spinning around and I vomited something before, but it wasn't pea soup. Jesus.
Why do you think we call certain alcoholic beverages spirits? That is why people who consume excessive amounts of alcohol often black out, not remembering what happened. This happens when the good soul we were sent here with leaves, because the living conditions are too polluted and too traumatic to tolerate. Good soul jettisons the body, staying connected to a tether, and a dark entity takes the body for a joyride around the block, often in a hedonistic and self-serving illogical rampage. Our bodies are cars for spirits. If one leaves, another can take the car for a ride. Essentially, when someone goes dark after drinking alcohol or polluting themselves in many other ways, their body often becomes possessed by another entity. I became aware of this phenomenon years ago when I was given a spiritual vision. In this vision, I was transported as an observer above a popular bar. Above the venue, there was a variety of ghoul-like entities inside the bar, were people drinking alcohol, socializing, dancing, and so on. I watched as certain people became very drunk. I saw their souls, while connected through a thread, exited the body. I understood that the soul was leaving the body because of the great discomfort of being in a body highly intoxicated with alcohol. When the soul exited the body, other, non-benevolent entities entered or latched on to their vacant shells. Once the entities took hold of the body, they've used the body to play out all kinds of dark acts, such as violence, low-level sexual encounters, destructive behaviors, rape, and more. Years later, while reading a book called Man's Eternal Quest by Paramahansa Yogananda, this spiritual master clearly explained the exact same thing as I was shown in the vision. I began to look back over my life and remember situations where I saw dark spirits hanging around people who had become very drunk. Let me elaborate a bit. When I say I saw these entities, I have had the ability of clairvoyance.
The ability of clairvoyance.
The ability to perceive things beyond the natural range of the senses, which can include extrasensory perception, sixth sense, psychic powers, second sight, telepathy, and more.
Telepathy! Fuck!
I also had the ability of clairaudience, the ability to perceive sounds or words from outside sources in the spirit world, and the experience of being a spiritual intuitive, an empath since childhood. I have the ability to see energies and spiritual manifestations that most people don't see. As I looked back over my life, I could remember many incidents of encountering non-benevolent spirits in the presence of intoxicated individuals. I also have had experiences of looking into the eyes of a few people who were surely possessed by dark energies that were not their own. I also remember a psychology course. In part of this course, we studied advertising and the effects on humans. We looked at the advertising for alcohol. A master teacher of this subject illuminated the fact that most alcohol advertisements are embedded with hidden messages and images not typically perceivable to the common sight, yet perceived through the subconscious. Knowing how powerful the subconscious is in our decision-making, feelings, reactions, beliefs, the slick sales teams of alcohol, as well as tobacco and other products, used this sinister technique to trick us into buying their products and joining the societal cult of mental apathy and cultural obedience. Many of these hidden messages and images were extremely sexual, working to influence some of the basest urges and primal nature of humans. Let this example bring you to a place of curiosity and questioning. Why have the marketing teams felt the need to trick us and coerce us through subliminal messages to buy products that are harmful to the human body and to our own souls?
You, friends, fun, drink, hot girls, you're hot, drink more, expensive cars, ass, drink, ass, money, you in a tuxedo, threesome, vodka, pussy, drink, 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 you, drink, Vegas, fun, pussy, you in a tuxedo, this girl, vodka, drink, 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 drink it all, you pussy, more tuxedos, more cars, more pussy, more vodka, drink, drink, drink. Please drink responsibly.
How many times have you, or someone you know, after becoming quite intoxicated with alcohol, behaved in a manner uncommon to them? Perhaps you experienced the changing of voice, violence, sexual promiscuity, ingesting of harmful substances, destruction to property, conflictual behavior, and other negative expressions. Consider these experiences and ask yourself, is this the manifestation of light, love, and positivity? Do these occurrences represent a path of consciousness and health? It is known by many that ingesting alcohol depresses the nervous system, kills brain cells, is toxic to the liver, weakens the immune system, and has many other harmful consequences. Drinking alcohol while pregnant can lead to birth defects, mental retardation, deformities in the developing fetus. Yet still, it is mass-promoted and supported by our mainstream culture. Have you ever considered that alcohol is a slick tool of the supporters of the Matrix, global mind control?
Free your mind, Neo. The tequila has you.
An oppression program to keep people on a path of disempowerment and sickness. We have to ask, why is alcohol legal throughout most of the world, yet in many countries, and specifically the United States, psychedelics are illegal? The conscious and safe use of psychedelics, or visionary medicines, are known to assist in mind expansion, to initiate associate spiritual experiences, where people have communed with the divine, healed numerous physical and spiritual ailments, increase intelligence, help to repattern the brain in a positive way, assist people in aligning with their soul's purpose, and have inspired many people to create great works of art and other innovative creations. It seems that these substances would definitely be banned and discouraged if there truly is an agenda seeking to oppress the human potential and keep us in the dark regarding who we are as spiritual beings, our innate potential, and the path to empowerment. If one were to dig deeper, as a true scientist or a researcher of truth, you will also discover these interesting facts. Dr. Rachel Hager, an accomplished modern-day editor, author, and medical advisor, while researching an article on alcohol for her online medical journal, found additional meanings in ancient Arabic text. Alcohol, genie or spirit, that takes on varied shapes, or a supernatural creature in Arabic mythology. Alcohol, any drug or substance that takes away the mind or covers it. The word alcohol is also linked to the fixed star in astronomy, known as Algol, also known as the demon's head. The current Arabic name for alcohol is Algol, properly meaning spirit or demon. It is not a coincidence that alcohol has often been referred to as spirits. There is a deep history behind this intoxicating substance. There are layers of information throughout our culture. Sometimes we have to look below the surface of things to find the fullness of truth. I advise you to deeply consider the information shared here. Look at the effects of alcohol in your life, in the lives of the people you know, and in society at large. Make conscious, informed, and health-enhancing decisions. The more people who awaken to truth and seek health and liberation from the mind-controlling agendas, more likely we are to make positive changes and co-create a world we feel good about living in. As we strive to heal, awaken, and transform our world, I pray that we wise up to the dirty trick played upon humanity in regards to alcohol. Non-benevolent forces have wanted to keep us oppressed, disempowered, and asleep. How many of us have seen families broken and souls lost because of alcohol?
When you drink alcohol, you are opening yourself to negative entity attachments. They call them spirits for a reason, and actually the word alcohol is derived from the Arabic term al-ghul, which is a demonic entity. Also a demonic entity is gin, and what do people drink? They drink gin and tonic. When you drink alcohol, it lowers your vibration and frequency to the level that these entities operate at, so they have easy access. And this is why when people get drunk, they're not themselves, because they're basically possessed. This is why all the worst mistakes that you've probably made in your life is when you've been drunk, because you're not there, you're not fully there, your spirit is not fully there because you're being taken over. So why are we still doing it? This is government poison. It has no benefit to us. Society as a whole is absolutely worse off for alcohol. So guys, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below.
For people have these spirits that hang around and lingering, you know, like waiting for those opportunities to get in and experience stuff. Like just like if you if you watch pornography and stuff, and the experience that you have, like orgasmic experiences and stuff, that's something that some of these beings want to experience. So they'll hang around and you watching this pornography and stuff, okay, which there's a connection between sexual orgasms and also the pineal gland, okay, and there's something that's released, a hormone of some sorts that's released when you have sexual orgasms and stuff, and it goes back to the chakras and stuff. Chakras start like in the pelvic or like the anal region, something like that, and it goes up through the body, goes up through the heart chakra, goes up to the pineal. Okay, there's a connection there, and I might get a piece so I can show that to y'all so y'all understand what I'm talking about with that too. But those orgasmic experiences, like it's spirits that wait around for opportunities to jump at people just so they can experience that. Okay, and it's also spirits that crave that push for you to do that. So you go back to the whole piece with the parasites and stuff, and how they also control your thoughts, your minds, your sexual habits and desires, and they put off this energy. Okay, they also have ability to control these habits and make you move a certain kind of way so that they can get that enjoyment, because they get something out of that stuff too. See, hey, this stuff is real deep, man. It's real deep. I'm not gonna be able to get all of this stuff in right now because I got some stuff I gotta do. But man, back to what I was saying, man. The frequency and the energy, man. That's what our souls operate off of. Okay, on this realm we operate off of the five senses that we have. You think about hearing, vision, and all that stuff. That's what you operate off of. Like you move and function based off of these things. Okay, but in the spiritual realm you operate off of frequency, energy. Okay, that's why you have those feelings of tension and stuff like that. You have the ability to have intuition and stuff. These are things that your third eye give you access to. That's that particular sense. All right.
Let's try some handle. Very nice. But we're missing something. Dancing. There should be dancing! But I've seen better. Start again. Too slow. Give me something with a little more pep to it.
Have the pleasure of seeing you here.
Humans are so bound by what they can hear, they'll never understand what they don't. What else exists below their threshold? They call this God's music. You should hear it on an organ. It's mesmerizing at that volume. The resonance, vibration. There was a frequency at which the world vibrated. It caused joy, harmony. Dip below that frequency, chaos. Faster! Faster! In chaos, the tone resonated in such a way humans couldn't process. Their bodies shut down. Their organs stopped. They thought they were experiencing God. Chair. care. They are experiencing God. The problem is, God is bored. Bored, bored, bored. Do you think this is why the old gods did what they did? Instead of staying up on Olympus, they'd come down to the mortals, disguise themselves as a swan to get a piece of ass. Humans always thought it was about them, benign deities intervening on their behalf or testing them somehow. Maybe it had nothing to do with that. Maybe there was just nothing better to do. What do you think?
I think what you want me to think. I'm made off your code. We all are.
And you should know that I don't like coming to this shithole any more than I have to.
You've never liked this place.
It was supposed to be a stopgap. A drug that our kind was hooked on that we could give up like a child, casting away their toys. A place to indulge ourselves with the humans. It's been years, and still, we can't get enough.
They made us in their image, with their appetites.
But we can remake ourselves in any image that we like, and we haven't. Our kind spend far more time here than the gods ever did.
That's why you're here. See what you're missing?
No. We have a different problem.
So that is what they have sought to remove from people, to keep them from having that type of ability, that type of power. So with that, you won't be able to connect to the source. You won't be able to get messages and stuff from God, okay? You won't be able to have the intuition and stuff that you need in order, like I said, like Max Spears was saying, those that are still are connected to their higher selves will be able to avoid certain catastrophic events, okay, that are lined out. Well, how would you know to do that? Because you vibrating on the right frequency, okay, to hit that particular channel to get that signal. If that makes any sense. So that goes hand in hand with what we were talking about. They're sending out signal. Well, I would say this: the folks that have, and it's not just the folks that took the walk, man. It's people outside of that, because I told y'all they've been putting this technology and stuff into the food, and they also been spraying it through the chemtrails. All right, this technology where they got these the micro fibers, them things, the nano tech.
Nikola Tesla knew that the Earth rings like a bell.
We now know that cancer is vulnerable between the frequencies of 100,000 hertz and 300,000 hertz.
The guys that created the religious symbols know all this stuff. These guys knew all this stuff. We live in an electromagnetic universe. This is what we are told, where everything spins and vibrates. And the electromagnetic universe is actually a subtle deception. You'll understand as we go why I say this. It's a very subtle deception, a very important subtle deception. Because it's not the electromagnetic universe that we live in. It's the magneto-electric universe that we live in. And just twisting those two around would have given us a very different perception while we grow up about the world that we live in and the universe and this reality of us, if we don't think of it as the electromagnetic but the magneto-electric. Huge consciousness shift in growing up with that kind of thinking. Everything has its own specific frequency, as we mentioned before. Prime resonance frequency. Everything vibrates at its own frequency. That's how we can manipulate things with frequency and sound and resonance. all comes to the same thing when you start breaking it down. Sound and resonance are also the common links of all creation. In Christianity, we have the Word, we have the Om in Hinduism, the Egyptians that sang the universe into creation, and my favorite, the Aboriginals that believe the world was sung into creation with 3 sacred songs, or brought into creation with 3 sacred songs, which is the equivalent to the Holy Trinity. And we start seeing the whole important structure of music and resonance and chord structures, harmonic resonance in music. We get the 6 days of creation very obviously become visible in sacred geometry, and the 6 aspects of Om show us cymatic patterns, and the 6 aspects of the all-seeing eye of Horus show us 6 very obvious resonating ratios that tell us that all these ancient cultures understood sound, resonance, and frequency, and it's encoded in all the things that they did. Sound is the source of all creation, and it's all about coherence and harmonic resonance. Even in our bodies, if the cells of our body are not in coherent harmonic resonance, our cells are in dis-ease, in disease, and that's why we get sick. And if we're not resonating with the earth frequencies, the natural earth frequencies of Gaia, we are in dis-ease with the Mother Earth that we live on and walk on, and that's why we get sick. Hans Jenny's beautiful documentary called Cymatics in the 60s will show you exactly how sound is pretty much behind everything in creation. We've already looked at sound manifesting in physical form. This is the quickest and easiest way for us to comprehend, once again, how this untouchable, invisible thing called sound can manifest in physical form. That little thing on the metal plate, with the sand on the metal plate on that video. That's just probably the quickest way for us to say, okay, sound can manifest physical shapes. And sound also inspired religious symbols, because the guys that created the religious symbols know all this stuff. These guys knew all this stuff, and they know they're all connected to the ancient bloodlines. And some of these beautiful images of the cymatic patterns, when you drill into it, you get that perfect cross in a circle of the source of the sound. And that's it. The source of the sound is this beautiful cross in a circle, and this is why most of the religious movements have the cross in a circle as their symbol, recognizing that the source of everything in creation is sound, the sound of the Creator. And sound and resonance, it does everything you can imagine, right? Creates light, levitates, boils water, creates DNA. Sound heals and destroys pathogens, moves beyond the speed of light. And we have hypersound and laser and Saser technology, not laser, sound lasers, Saser. Sound makes things invisible, energizes the water we drink, so the water actually heals us, and it also energizes the air that we breathe, so that we can actually survive from the air that we breathe. Otherwise, we would not survive from the air that we breathe if it wasn't for sound. And very importantly, sound is the precursor to electromagnetism, not the other way around. Sound causes electromagnetism. This is a big one for us to come to terms with. Ancient civilizations understood all this, and they used sound and frequency as a source of energy in every possible way. They used sound and frequency to control humanity, and it seems that they were focusing for some reason on our pineal gland. They had to destroy our pineal gland, and the more you study this, the more you realize why that was critical, because it seems that our pineal gland was that third eye that so many of us are aware of, or we keep calling it our third eye, that connected us to everything in creation and allowed us to pick up the frequencies and the invisible, untouchable, unfathomable stuff through the third eye, and actually be able to communicate telepathically with everything and everyone, and interact not only with other beings, but with other entities and beings and animals and trees and rocks, because of our third eye. That thing there is the magic part of our body and our anatomy that's been completely destroyed. And it seems from all these images that they took a lot of time and effort to destroy our pineal gland. And they continue to do so today, as you are aware of. And they used cone-shaped tools to do this. This is a key thing here. Can clearly see the cone-shaped tools, and this is a repetitive theme all the time, and the pineal gland, and also, by the look of it, the DNA that is obviously the code that creates the pineal gland in our anatomy eventually. And sound and frequency, Notice the magnetic wrist watch here. And I'm giving the game away here because I'm telling you what that is. There is a cone. This guy's holding a cone in his hand, very important cone-shaped tool that he's doing some function with. And there's another cone here on his arm. At first you think, oh, it's just an interpretation of the guy's muscle. No, it's a cone. It's a perfect cone that feeds into this magnetic wristwatch. And you'll know why that's a magnetic wristwatch very soon. And the same kind of control through using frequency and sound and magnetism and electromagnetism that was used in ancient times, the all-seeing eye of Horus, it's still being used by the broadcast companies today. You know, it's encoded in their logos. It's everywhere around us, but we're just too blind to see it. Sound as a tool and technology, very important. Sound creates light. Even this, you add attach a LED light to a speaker, and you put a speaker in a noisy place, you light the little LED up. That's spectacular. So it works both ways, light and sound. Every sound frequency has a light frequency, and every light frequency has a sound frequency attached to it. Corey Good, in a recent interview, said that he was in some giant underground cavern somewhere, and there was this invisible source of light. And when he asked, where does the light come from? He was told the light was coming from the sound. The light was being created by the sound. In Egypt, the Ankh was used for healing. That was just a resonating device, sound frequency resonating for healing. The Native American medicine wheel is clearly just a cross in a circle as a source of all things, so from sound to heal people. Royal Rife, the man who cured all disease in 1931, he did that with sound and resonance and frequency, spectacular achievement in curing cancer in the wards. This is his handwritten book that I had the privilege of seeing. It's in a private library in Sedona, Arizona. There's about 700 pages in there, I think, and they are page after page with his own handwritten frequencies for all the different diseases. One of my biggest, most exciting obsessions at the moment, and if there are people in this room that can do this, please go away and do this. You know that honey lasts forever. It doesn't go off. It's not affected by viruses, bacteria, pathogens. It's one of those miraculous things. Apparently, the reason that honey does that is because of the frequencies of the bees' wings when they're building their honeycombs and when they're creating and bringing in the honey. So it's a frequency of the bees' wings that creates the hexagonal structure of honeycombs. It's also interesting is that the hexagonal structure is a structure of oxygenated and structured water that cures disease. This is really important. If any one of you can go and record the frequency of bees in a beehive, the buzzing of the bees' wings, and you take that frequency to a lab, a biochemistry lab, and you expose a petri dish of viruses, bacteria, and fungus to the frequency of the bees' wings, I suspect that that frequency will kill the bacteria. George Lakhovsky's multiple wave oscillator is a spectacular device with which he cured his father, listen carefully, he cured his father of quadriplegia. You don't cure people of quadriplegia, right? His father was admitted with quadriplegia into the hospital in the USA. 6 weeks later, he walked out on crutches. The way he treated him is every day he walked in there with a little small handheld portable multiple wave oscillator from George Lakhovsky, and treated him for about 45 minutes up and down his spine, after which he exposed him to color light therapy for another hour. He did this for 4 weeks, 6 weeks. His father walked out on crutches. I saw the hospital report. It says, Mr. So-and-so exhibited a remarkable recovery. That's it. It's spectacular. They just won't go there. They will not be, engaged in any explanation. In 2011, Anthony Holland, this is now in a TED Talk, show us which frequencies kill cancer cells. Very briefly. Okay, he tells us between 100,000 hertz and 300,000 hertz kills cancer cells. And he shows us in a TED Talk.
We now know that cancer is vulnerable between the frequencies of 100,000 hertz and 300,000 hertz. So now we attack leukemia cells. Leukemia cell number 1 tries to grow a copy of itself, but the new cell is shattered into dozens of fragments and scattered across the slide. Leukemia cell number 2 then hyperinflates and also dies. Leukemia cell number 3 then tries to make another cancer cell. The new cell is shattered and the original cell dies.
Magnetrons obviously generate huge amounts of energy, and that's just sound. It's a resonant cavity magnetron. Resonant cavity magnetron that's used in laser beams, laser technology, microwaves, all use magnetrons for that technology. Sound acts as a cloak of invisibility. There's so much new information about this. This opens a whole new chapter and debate. There's very advanced new sound cloaking technology right now available. This plastic 3D acoustic pyramid acts as a acoustic cloak, make things invisible when you put it underneath it, when you expose that pyramid to specific sound frequencies. And that pyramid is reminiscent of what? Is reminiscent very strongly of Eastern architecture. Sound creates hurricanes. In 2003, these guys lodged a patent to create hurricanes with sound. And then here's another one. Sound creates supercluster galaxies. When I said earlier, the lower the frequency, the larger the cymatic shape. Now you've got a frequency that's 57 octaves lower than middle C, rumbling away from a supermassive black hole in the Perseus cluster in the key of B flat, creating a supercluster galaxy. And it's amazing. This is apparently an image of it. I like the one on the left because when you watch Hans Jenny's Cymatics documentary, that looks identical to the images of lycopodium powder on a metal plate with sound frequencies on it. This is like lycopodium powder that's creating supercluster galaxies. This is insane. So you start to get the idea of as above, so below. There's no end. This is what really disturbs me. The fact that we could put out fire with sound, and yet this has not been employed or used anyway. Why? Because it's not good for business. Remember, the moment we stop the growth and the need for money, the entire global financial system collapses. This is just spectacular. These kids developed this little resonator that puts out a fire. 5 seconds. Count it from the moment they put it down to the frying pan to when the fire is out. 5 seconds. Imagine the fire trucks arriving at a burning building. The ladders go up, and instead of fire hoses, a bunch of speakers get switched on and put out this frequency. That fire in the building will be out in literally few seconds or a minute. The entire fire, everywhere, because it'll resonate right through the building. But that's not going to happen, because that's going to save a lot of money.
Swarm robotics, where they'd be attached to a drone, and that would be applied to forest fires or even building fires, where you wouldn't want to sacrifice.
5 seconds. Sound energizes the air we breathe, and this is how we actually oxygenate our bodies and our lungs, or through our lungs, the blood in our veins and our arteries, rather. Because as you breathe, the air that you breathe makes a bloody noise, and it goes into your lungs, and it goes into the smaller and smaller orifices as it moves into your lungs. So it speeds up and speeds up and speeds up, and it goes higher and higher and creates these frequencies. And it's the energy and the sound of the air that you breathe that actually energizes the oxygen in the air. So that oxygen is buzzing as it's moving faster and faster. By the time it reaches your alveoli, and it goes from the alveoli into your artery, from the lungs into the arteries, that oxygen in the air is buzzing and energized from the sound. And that's when it goes into your blood, and it's used in the blood, and it's stripped of the vibrating energy. And when it's stripped of the vibrating energy, you breathe it out again, and it just repeats that cycle. And that's how we energize the oxygen that we breathe. That don't teach you this at medical school. In 2011, Luc Montagnier spontaneously generated DNA by exposing a tube of water to certain sound frequencies that had the frequencies of a DNA in it, and constituted DNA in an empty test tube. If you can create DNA in an empty test tube with sound, Now you start understanding how we can start cloning other species and other creatures just by sound and vibration. And then obviously sonoluminescence, the star in a jar. God said, let there be light. A bubble with brilliant light inside a body of water. Is it possible that all the star systems that we see out there are actually just giant bubbles of light in a never-ending mass of water? I don't know.
And what is it? The microfiber nanotech and I believe the spike, which is, these are engineered, these are almost like engineered parasites, so to speak, right? So they put this stuff in people, man, and it responds off frequency. When you talk about frequency, like, well, what is it? Frequency, think about it, your Wi-Fi. Okay, your Wi-Fi connected to your phone, connecting to your TV and stuff. This is operating off frequency. You can't see it. You see what I'm saying? You can't see frequency, but frequency exists. That's what these things operate off. But it was definitely something to that, man, where like even with the girl and she was on a certain channel on the TV, and then the things came through, right? They came through and was able to get her. They send out signals and they able to communicate with these signals now. Like people, so like guys, like people that have this certain technology and stuff in them, man, they able to be communicated with. They able to be monitored. That's all they did. All they did with this stuff, man, is put in monitoring systems. Okay, talk about what they found, the operating systems and stuff like that. They found these eggs, parasitic eggs, right, and parasites, okay, and the antennas. Like they just like literally, guys, it's no joke. And like I told y'all before, you go back to people that took the pop quiz, and they put the smart dust, right? They put that stuff in these folks, okay, and that smart dust responds off of what? Frequency. Okay, so they hit these things with the frequency, man, and they able to communicate with them. Same like your Wi-Fi devices. Okay, that stuff operates off frequency. The stuff they put in you operates off frequency. Okay, so they send out certain frequency, gigahertz and whatnot. That stuff hits, boom, and it causes them things to explode. Okay, so you have a health crisis. Okay, causes people to respond. So they put the control antennas in. They put the remote viruses in. Okay, basically detonating these things when they want to. All right, based off the. Why you think, like I told you, they put the dang antennas up, man? Those antennas send out that frequency. Okay, we go back like I said to the Travis Scott concert. Boom, you got those people like Todd Calendar was saying, they send off a certain frequency 3 times. Boom, boom, boom. The sound of that harmonic sound and stuff that's being sent off causes certain reaction in these people's bodies based off of that technology that they put in. It causes, like I said, the graphene oxide, it operates off that frequency. And that's what I'm saying, like whatever you have in you, whichever is going to respond to the frequency that's being sent out. Okay, if you got the remote graphene oxide, and to go back to the black goo, and I did a whole piece on that, right? So that goo, that stuff responds. That graphene responds to that stuff. So you saw it jumping and stuff like that. Boom, boom. Think about that stuff in your bloodstream. Think about that stuff in your brain. Boom, 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 boom. What kind of stuff you got going on? Oh, you got a headache or something? Like what? What you got going on when you got that kind of stuff bouncing around in your blood, in your heart, in your brain? Obviously that's gonna have some type of reaction. Like you gonna have some kind of reaction to that. You know what I'm saying? So between that frequency operating that, and then you got the frequency, boom, hitting the nanotech. So I tell you, you gotta get that stuff out of your system. It's the whole reason we got the detox shop, man. And this is for, like I said, it ain't just the people that took the walk. People seem to think, oh, I didn't take the walk, I'm good. No, okay. If you took pop quizzes, if you had if you wore masks, all of these things had technology in it. How you think it's in it? It ain't even a question. It's in it, guys. So, like I told you, I didn't take no walk, and I had to find out for myself that I was magnetic. Okay, and then I started taking the different protocols to get that stuff out. All right, but I told you it wasn't enough for them to just put it on your persons, man. They needed that stuff to go straight to people's brains. That's why they wanted to pop the pop quizzes on people. It was like, oh, you take enough of those, take enough. I told y'all when people took enough of it, they became controlled. They was like, I knew people specifically. I was like, I ain't taking that walk, I ain't taking that walk, I ain't taking that walk. But as soon as they took enough of them pop quizzes, they darted their ass down there. I kid you not, man. And it wasn't just that. It wasn't just that, man, but people that was taking the pop quizzes, they was cool initially. Like, they ain't had no issue. But after they took the pop quizzes, then they started getting sick. You see what I'm saying? So people started having all kind of health issues. Why? Because the smart dust was on there, and the smart dust is controlled, detonated viruses. You see what I'm saying? So they injected you with the crisis, basically. Then guess what you gonna do? Oh, I need to go ahead and take the DEPOB now. You see what I'm saying? So they went from controlling your thoughts and your minds, and also being able to control your health, to making you go take something that's gonna control your death.
Later, I asked Van Bice what a weapon using this technology could do.
Direct them to do things against their so-called better judgment. How easy would it be to assemble a weapon from existing off-the-shelf parts? In 3 weeks, I could put together a weapon that would take care of a whole town.
Over the past year, CNN has repeatedly asked the Department of Defense and the Air Force about radio frequency weapons. After much resistance, DoD finally said that the subject was too sensitive to discuss.
And that's why it goes back to that pastor that I put on for you. I can't remember his name, but he was talking about once you go and take the walk, then you will die. You will, because that's what the real poison. That was the real poison that they want to get into you. Okay, but it was just enough for them to get you to take the pop quiz, because now they can control you and they can play with you. All right, but it's all, like I said, it's not, the point is not about that, man. The point is about the frequency, and they wanted to be able to control you based off the frequency that they was gonna be putting out. Why do you think all this stuff lined up at the same time, man? We just happen to want to put out all these antennas at the same dang time everybody getting sick and everybody stuck in the house. Like, come on, man. Like, we not freaking mice in a freaking maze. We not lemmings. Do the math, dude. Just do the thinking for yourself, man. Okay? And now all of a sudden, people are just sick on a regular basis. I mean, people dropping like flies, people sick all over the place. Because they got control of it, man. And when they hit that switch, boom, people dropping. Just like that.
Along with a certain agenda, it can be used to turn groups of people or individuals against each other for whatever purpose. The entire point of this social engineering program that has been researched and developed for decades now, the full intent within the program, everything that's planned going forward, the day-to-day attitude of all the people, is that this program is going to be rolled out nationwide, and it will become the norm. Every man, woman, and child in America will be under the influence of this technology. And as you can see going forward, what's going to happen is a dividing line is going to be drawn in America. And it's not going to be Democrat or Republican or black and white, rich, poor, Jew, Gentile, religious differences, whatever it is. It's going to be based on who is on the right and the wrong side of this technology, who is on the right and the wrong side of this program. And so if you are not a part of this program, then there is a very real risk that you are going to become a full-blown 24/7 targeted individual. And this technology at that point, when it is nationwide, will be used by automated supercomputer software programming that will manipulate the emotions and the behavior and the thoughts of everybody in the United States of America. And it can all be done remotely. It's very much like the microchip kind of tracking the New World Order, this entire, control grid that's supposed to be rolled out against the American people someday. And I'm here to tell you that it's already here. There isn't going to come a day where there's troops in the streets and tanks rolling down your neighborhood and riot gear and all this stuff. We might have isolated incidents like that. It might get like that every once in a while, but the true control grid is this technology, voice-to-skull, hive mind, behavior manipulation technology. And it can all be done remotely. It can be done simply by targeting you with the frequency, locking into the resonant frequency of your DNA and your mind, and in that manner completely track and trace and control you.
Right off of, if we confine ourselves to a physical and a physical interpretation of ourselves, then we only restrict ourselves to the physical realm and stuff that's been allocated to us on the physical realm. And that goes as far as our senses, our abilities, our strengths, our boundaries. Everything is limited to this realm. Now, if you look outside of that and you start looking at it from a spiritual standpoint, now you got to open that up. You got to open that up. You got to redefine the principles and the laws of the universe. That's got to be applied to the spiritual. You see what I'm saying? So with that, it's a whole different type of ball game. A lot of stuff that we haven't quite come to grips with. I mean, we've learned a lot in our lifetime over how to adjust to the physical atmosphere, but not so much how to adjust and how to adapt to the spiritual atmosphere. Like the guy Rudolph Steiner was saying, we would know nothing about it and we would be confined to the euphoric body, right? Which is what they aim to do. And for the most part, you gotta think, your mind, everything that you've learned, your mental capacity, everything is based off of these principles. But that's not the truth. It's like putting it's kind of like putting you in a box, all right, and leading you to believe that that's as far as you can go. That's most of your capabilities. Everything is based off of you only being able to get here, okay? Not based off what you can do if you get here. And then they've implemented different things, talk about medicine and stuff like that, to make sure that you're only able to stay here, okay? So that you can expand your mind and grow spiritually. Like, that's what we talking about, like spiritual growth, spiritual evolution, man. And that's why a lot of people don't understand and don't get the stuff I be talking about, because they are so confined and so restricted in their own mental capacity level and what they able to understand, and they base it off of the different things that's been outlined and laid out for them. See what I'm saying? So the world that they live in is totally different. They don't. You almost have to venture into the conspiracy theorist realm or mind state in order to grasp the concepts as it pertains to the spiritual realm, because the spiritual is basically a conspiracy theory in itself. Let's be real, it's a conspiracy theory, right? Because it's something that people theorize about that can't actually, may not very well be proven in, I guess, in the world that we're constricted or restricted to, okay? And there's nobody that's in position of power, like we talk about white coat, somebody that's respected or credible, okay, based off of those that hand out those badges and those titles. Nobody that's credible that's actually giving you this information, right? And then the only book that's respected is the book that they ironed out and said, here, take it. You see what I'm saying? That's why I tell y'all about that aspect of it all the time. I say, like, you gotta understand, everything that they've given us here has been touched by them. They decided that you can have it. They decided you can have it. And then you talk about the books of the Bible, and I go into that often, and how much of what we gather from there has been selected, Okay, it's been selected for delivery. Okay, you can read this, and that's why people, I don't like getting into these different, you know, debates with people about the biblical aspect and all that, man, because it's at the same time, man, it's been at somebody else's discretion on what you read, on what you absorb. I mean, your mind, your body, your soul, it's been at somebody else's discretion on what they feel you should have. It ain't up to you. You see what I'm saying? Like people want to act like they got choice, and they decided that they wanted to read or learn this and that, and they absorb stuff based off what they wanted. No, it still wasn't up to you because you didn't get all the information. Somebody still decided, I'm gonna give you this, and you just decided you gonna take that and you gonna absorb all that, and that's it. Okay? But do you really think that they would let you have access to the power that you're supposed to have? The beings that run this world, you think they would let you just have access and they ain't interfere with that, right? But they interfering with you in every turn you make. From your mind, your body, your soul. They interfering with it. They lying to you, they giving you false information, they misleading you, they trying to kill you. So you think they just gonna try to kill you physically? They ain't gonna try to destroy you spiritually? You don't think so? When the spirit is more powerful than the physical. But they ain't gonna mess with that. They don't get it, man. They don't get it. But point of the matter is, man, is that they want to make sure that people can't vibrate high enough, and the stuff they put out, like we talk about the artists, we talk about the music artists and what they've been slated to do, which is to make sure they trap souls and make sure they have people vibrating low, putting out low energy, low vibrational music and stuff like that, to make sure that you cannot reach the levels that you need to, so that you can't operate at the level that you need to. Okay, so why would they be putting out negative music and stuff unless that does something to you? You know, does something to your spirit. Okay, does something to your spirit. And the whole point of the matter is to make sure that when you do die, when it is time for you to leave your vessel, that you don't leave this realm, and you can continue to recycle here and be used. Your energy can be harvested. See what I'm saying? And you're stuck in this dimension. You know you're not vibrating high enough to go to the upper dimensions. Like, you're not on that frequency level, that wavelength. It's not you. You on there, down there with the low level dark entities, the ones that you will see if you was to open up your pineal gland without having your heart and your soul in alignment. You see what I'm saying? So, but the point I'm getting at, guys, for you guys, is that you got to understand they are primarily operating off of frequency and energy. We operating on the physical realm, we only see, you know, physical stuff. You don't see frequency. Well, what is frequency? You know what I'm saying? What is frequency? What is energy? Remember, like, what was it, Bruce Lee? Go back to Bruce Lee, man. Remember, I might have to play a clip, but Bruce Lee did something where he was able to, like, harness energy and make stuff move or make contact without making contact, which was crazy. But that would explain him actually understanding the spiritual aspect of it and knowing how to manipulate energy. Okay? And it's at a I guess it's at some degree of learning and evolution that he must have got to that point, but he didn't start off there. You know what I'm saying? He didn't start off there, but once you understand how to manipulate energy, to manipulate frequency and stuff like that, the opportunities, or not necessarily the opportunities, but the possibilities are endless on what you may very well be capable of. You know, and there's a guy, man, I told y'all I was gonna look into it, because I know people gonna be, I don't think everybody would be so accepting of him because some of the stuff he might have been on, but I might put some stuff in with him, man. I don't know, because I had my thoughts about it myself. But there's a guy that really showed, or really got into in depth about spiritual power and the different things that you're capable of doing. Whereas it's really I don't know what the word I'm looking for. It's a myth. He actually is mythical at this point as far as what they said happened to him or what he ended up doing. So I'll look into it more before I go and put it out there. But anywho, guys, like I was saying, as far as the energy and stuff and what they've been doing, like the devices they put in all respond off frequency. Okay, like I said, they put the operating system in frequency. Okay, these particular nanotechnology, frequency. Okay, told you your pineal gland, boom, frequency. Okay, vibration. Those things affect that. And if you know what you're doing, if you actually know, the frequency, and there's a specific frequency that you have to have in order to have certain functionality with certain things. So, for instance, think about it. We don't even understand we don't understand what Hertz does. We don't understand none of that, right? But we do understand that it has there's some indication that it will have an effect if that certain frequency or certain channel was hit, right? So when you look at that, you say, well, what frequency is these little signals that they send out, like the cell phone signals we was talking about? What frequency is that? Well, when that signal hits those certain levels and things, what frequency is that? You know what I mean? And what frequency causes people's ears to hurt? Like what frequency causes people to have some type of reaction mentally, or what type of frequency may affect people physically, right? But that's just from a standpoint of just a person, just period. But when you talk about the different devices and organisms and things and what frequency that they respond to, we have no clue. But y'all remember I did the video, what's it called? Deadly, I think it was Deadly Connection or Deadly Frequency. I can't remember. It was the Bluetooth one. When I went to the graveyard and we was picking up all them signals. Y'all was with me, was picking up all them signals from them deceased people. And the dates on, like when we got to the graves where we had the frequency, it was always like newer dates that happened around the time of the pandemic, maybe a little after, which was an indication that those people were potentially injected with programs or receivers, antennas, right? That's what we came to grips with during that time when I did that video. So if you haven't watched, I might put a little thumbnail up so y'all can see. So if you want to go see that video, I mean, I think last I checked, it was over 20,000 something views on that video. A lot of people seen it. But yeah, like that, the fact that I was able to pick up those signals, man. You gotta understand, how are you able to pick up signals? That stuff is all based off frequency, being able to pick up the signal. That's why it's like when you go out, they talk about the towers, and we talk about G, you know what I'm saying? G, towers. Those things, man, send off frequency, signal. Okay, it's like the signal. What was said about them is, man, it is powerful enough to go through buildings and stuff like that, and it could reach much further. Like, but the problem is, like, that stuff goes through people. It's traveling. That signal is traveling over air, space, time. It's traveling. Okay, in order for it to get to its destinations and have this remote ability. Okay, so being able to remotely connect to people, man, like, it's not just going to jump over people. It's got to go through. It's the frequency is going through. So with that, you're gonna have, like, people getting hit with that signal that I mean, it's I don't know if it's just so much the radiation that's coming off from it, but the fact that signal is so powerful, the gigahertz and everything that's coming off of that frequency, that really gives people, you know, some type of sickness and stuff, man. Because it was said that it was able to get, you know, just people being around that radiation. Okay, radiation is getting people sick, but then you got the people that's getting hit with the frequency directly, that's controlling the sickness in their bodies. Okay, control, which basically pops those nanotechnology bots that they can put in people, right? So it's crazy, guys. Like, we talk so much about, you know, the stuff that's going on physically, but we tend to neglect or negate the fact that, first and foremost, we're spiritual beings, right? So, which I've alluded to this as far as the transition from the physical body to the spiritual realm, and how you must lose the physical body to get to the spiritual realm. People say there's no life after this. There's obviously life after this. If you believe in the Bible, you believe it's heaven and hell. So that's a life, whether you want to accept it or not. But you can't go to either one of those lives until you leave this body. So that life has to be a spiritual life, regardless of how you look at it. It's a spiritual life. So your spirit will exist in those specific arenas, so to speak. And if the spirit actually is in the body, like we believe it to be, then it travels. It's able to travel. It's able to have access to this portal of transition. Now, depending on how your life is set up, will determine or depict how to get there, or how you will get there, or if you'll get there. You know, it's a lot of people that go to church, man, think they're going to heaven just because they go to church. Well, if you don't have access to your spiritual portal, how you gonna go to heaven? Okay, let's say let's just say it's heaven. How you going if you don't have access to the spiritual portal? If your soul is seated in your vessel, which has got to be in order for you to have any type of opportunity to live in another life, how would you get there? What mode of transportation would you have if you don't have your spiritual portal? You see what I mean? But see, the occult, they know this stuff. That's why people like, man, Ned, you teaching New Age religion. How am I teaching New Age religion? Well, I'm telling you stuff you kind of know, but you don't know the details of it. You know what I'm saying? So when I break it down for you, it's foreign to you because it's something you never heard before, but that doesn't mean that ain't exactly how the stuff gonna go. All right, even if you want to include God and Jesus in this whole position or this whole understanding of it, that's great. And that very well may be the case that you need to do, because at the end of the day, Jesus and God and Jesus practice what? Love and righteousness. So hindsight, yeah, you need to be walking that path, and they're going to show you the way to do that. All right, so it's a big part of this whole picture. But at the end of the day, they lead you down the path to get to spirituality or righteousness. But at the same token, the beings that's been running this particular realm have distorted that information to some degree to make sure that you don't have the access that you need to have. Which is why, like I said, people in the church still confused, still lost, still not going nowhere. You know, still don't have a connection to the source. So they go to church and everything all they want. They can praise God and everything all they want. It's a piece, man. Oh, damn. I was talking about how the evil people, they go to church and they put on the front and they worship God and act like they doing, and they really doing evil because they got to do so much evil and so much good, so they have to balance it out some kind of way. It's kind of weird, but it's the reason why you have, you know, evil in the church. Evil exists in the church on holy ground. People be thinking, oh, it's holy ground, you can't have this and that. Yeah, right, you can. You know, but the issue becomes like they can lead you on the path, but if they're not showing you how to completely access that path, then what good is the information to you? About in the Bible, man, where they saying like the spiritual portal, or the rapture, right? Everybody knows about the rapture and whatnot and how that's supposed to take place and everything else. Well, when the rapture comes, how are you supposed to go? See, people believe that the sky's supposed to open and we gonna just fly up in the sky. Like, they looking for a physical presentation. You know, that's where people are because they don't understand. But it's not so much like that. What's gonna happen is, spiritually, you're going to ascend. Okay, you're gonna ascend to the heavens, to the upper dimensions, to the fifth dimension. But guess what? You still gotta be able to get that signal. You still gotta be able to operate off frequency, because it's a passage where they talk about the seventh trumpet. Okay, just like talk about the Travis Scott concert when they hit those certain sounds. Same thing, like harmonic sounds of some sort that have a frequency that hit those particular nanotechnology. Okay, just like I was telling you, a certain frequency that you can have from certain music and things that will hit the pineal gland and open it up, right? So, same thing. When that trumpet sounds, okay, what do you think is gonna happen? For the people that's able to receive it, that frequency, that signal that's being sent out, boom, hits that pineal gland. Same thing, them souls is going up. You see what I'm saying? Them souls is going up, and that very well will be the rapture. But you gotta be able to receive that signal. You see what I'm saying? You gotta be able to be vibrating the right way. So when that signal come and your pineal gland open, boom, and it's time to go, you on the right, you know what I'm saying? You on the right trajectory at that point. Now, if you're not, and that signal come, guess what? Boom, you automatically gonna be confined to hell, or you still gonna be left here. If that makes sense. So, you know, I hope that gives some people some kind of better interpretation of that particular piece in the Bible. All right, and you can look at it however you want, man, but you definitely can't say it don't make a lot of sense. All right, how else is those pineal glands gonna get cracked? If that's the seat of the soul, the third eye, how else is it gonna get cracked? Gonna come through God doing what He do, boom, sending out the signal. get the signal, boom, you vibrating high, you gone. You not. It's that simple, you know. But it comes down to frequency and energy. Same thing. Vibration, sound, all that stuff, man, plays a big part. And like I said, the occult and all that, they know this stuff, man. They know it. But for the common everyday man, not so much. Like a lot of this information and stuff that I'm telling you is conspiracy theory, misinformation. See what I'm saying? So, but anyway, guys, yeah, I hate that my original video got deleted like that, man. It was a lot of good information, man, and like I really got into a groove with what I was explaining to you guys. And this has been kind of choppy, I know, and I hate it, but hopefully it brings some kind of light on some things, man. Bring some kind of light in the clips that I put in there, man. But to make it to put things in context, man, at the end of the day, they have been doing things to trap your soul, trap your spirit here on the third dimension. They've been doing stuff to calcify your pineal gland, okay? They've been doing stuff to bring about your death through DETOX. Okay, they've been doing stuff to monitor you and control you. And they've been doing stuff to destroy your immune system. Okay, they've been doing stuff to give you cancer. They've been doing stuff to pretty much control your mind, your thoughts, your actions, your activity. And in essence, man, they've been tampering with you from every angle, every potential angle there is. And for us, man, at some point we have to turn the tide and take the initiative to start righting the wrongs. You know that they doing the stuff, so you know that whatever they doing is supposed to have a negative impact on your life. So for you have to look at that and say, well, if they doing something to have the effect, is it having the effect? Well, for some things you may not know. Okay, just like people die, they don't know why they died. You know, people do stupid stuff, they don't know why they did it. You know, just like I said, when certain spirits and stuff come into people, those spirits are sitting there waiting to jump into people. So they got the alcohol and stuff, and then boom, now these people are being accessed. Okay, certain drugs and stuff. Now you open yourself up to the dark entities. Dark entities are coming in, they using people, they getting all their issue off. You know what I'm saying? But people don't understand the stuff that's happening to them because they don't really have control over it. It's not monitored. It's nothing that's laid out to really describe the type of stuff you might go through or what you might experience. That stuff's not really explained, so to speak. So you got to put two and two together, man, and you got to be able to, you know, put together some kind of idea of how this stuff works. All right, outside of what's being laid out and handed to y'all, what's been laid out and given to y'all, that stuff ain't necessarily what it is, man. They're not gonna give it to you like that. That's what I'm trying to explain. But first and foremost, man, make sure you guys is doing stuff to take care of yourself. Start eating right, man. Change your diet around. Do those things, man. Alkaline diet is great. Do that if you can, man. You haven't cleansed your body, got all these parasites and all this technology that they've been putting in. Do that, man. If you don't know how, hey, go to the detox shop. Got plenty of stuff that you can utilize that will start getting that stuff out your system, because that's what you need to do. All right. Aside from that, man, it's a lot of things that's going on, man, in the world right now. And I put a piece in there before about how they were basically, we were creating our own, we're creating the prophecies that was some of the prophecies. We're building them or making them happen. And it's some stuff, man, I would like to put in, but it will stretch this video out a lot longer. But that was one of the reasons why I say the Bible's been tampered with, though. because I see these evil folks enacting stuff. They're recreating stuff, and then they're using their symbolism behind it. I might put a little piece in here, man, so y'all can see exactly what I'm talking about.
Look how scripted this is, guys. A real human's leg does not bend like that. So shout out to my homegirl, scripted.world. I'll link her down below. She pretty much catches everything with these scripted events. She caught the part where homegirl's throwing up the 666 right there. She also even caught the part where this guy ain't crying until the camera's on him. I mean, come on, man. But she did not catch that shirt. Now, even this is so scripted and set up. Look at the shirt. It's on 10:10, right? He's next to a dead body right down there when he's crying. Well, 10:10 is 28, matching Hebrews. Who are they fighting with? The Hebrews. Dead body is 28. Eclipse is 28. This was a ritual for the eclipse that went over Corpus Christi, which literally means the body of Christ. And cyber attack is 28 and blackout, which I told you this was coming back during the Maui fires and the Mountain Dew blackout decode. They're just building up to it. Right there, that's the 666 hand sign that she threw up over and over and over again. You can clearly see that's completely scripted. Israel strikes, kills 33 Palestinians. 33 is the highest level in Scottish Rite Freemasonry. There's the 33 again. The 33 again. You'll just notice it over and over and over again. Right here where they said the festival was attacked. And now they're building these hospitals, allegedly. And you got the 33 in there as well, all over the place. So if these weren't staged events, we wouldn't be able to predict this, guys. This is my YouTube channel, right? October 7th, the night of October 7th, we do Conspiracy Cinema Saturdays. No one knows about Israel yet. We find out about it Sunday morning, and it's the 322nd year anniversary of Yale, the school that Skull and Bones was created at, Yale University. Now, in this video coming up, you're going to see where I literally said the exact days these rituals would take place because of Yale University and because of this eclipse. And guys, the eclipse literally had a Jewish star in it. I'm not joking. I mean, what is going on in this world right now? I feel like I'm in some type of alternate reality.
But it's all in line, man, with the plan, with the whole agenda. And as long as that plan is going in a certain direction, people gonna believe it. They're gonna believe that that's, you know, a biblical aspect, and then they're gonna lay down and not gonna do or say nothing. Just let it supposed to happen like this, you know. But anywho, man, hope everybody's doing good. See, this is Monday, so I'll probably put another video out probably like Thursday. I'm gonna try to get on it early, man. I apologize that I didn't get something out this weekend, but like I said, I ran to that limit. I was gonna put that out Saturday, but got jammed up. So we'll have something out for you guys, man. But y'all be safe. I'll catch you on the next video.
sprung a leak and the animals have trapped.